The alarm bells rang through the UES horizon as Captain Ben Collins rushed to the bridge. His boots made heavy sounds on the metal floor. The crew was already at their stations, staring at the massive shape on their main screen. "How big is that thing?" Collins asked his first officer. "About 20 miles long, sir." "It just appeared out of nowhere," Lieutenant Lisa Chang replied from her communication station. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook slightly as she worked the controls. Dr. Maya Rodriguez stood near the back of the bridge, holding a small silver device in her hands. Inside the device was Arya, her greatest creation. Maya had spent 15 years building the most advanced artificial intelligence humanity had ever made. Arya could think, learn, and even feel emotions just like a human. "Captain, they're sending us a message," Lisa said. The main screen changed to show strange symbols that moved and shifted like living things. Then a voice filled the bridge. It was deep and cold, speaking perfect English. "Primitive vessel, you will prepare for boarding. We are the Veltari Confederation. Your species will be evaluated." Captain Collins looked at Maya. "Doctor, is Arya ready for this?" Maya nodded and activated her device. A soft blue light appeared, and Arya's voice came through the speakers. Her voice sounded warm and friendly, like a young woman. "Hello, Captain. I've been listening to their transmissions." "They seem very sure of themselves," Arya said. The alien ship moved closer to the horizon. It was dark gray with strange patterns carved into its surface. Small ships flew out of openings in its side like insects from a hive. "They want to come aboard, sir," Lisa reported. "Let them come," Collins said, "but keep our weapons ready." An hour later, the alien delegation walked into the Horizon's main meeting room. They were tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large black eyes. Their leader wore a bright red uniform, covered in golden symbols. Behind him walked a female alien in a white coat, carrying what looked like a tablet made of crystal. "I am Commander Zekther, of the Veltari Confederation," the leader said. His voice was the same cold one they had heard earlier. "This is Chief Scientist Quamara. We are here to decide if your species is worth keeping alive." The humans in the room looked at each other with worry. Captain Collins stood up slowly. "Welcome to our ship. I'm Captain Collins. This is Dr. Maya Rodriguez, our lead scientist." Zekther barely looked at them. His black eyes seemed bored. "We have ruled this part of space for 10,000 years. Every species we meet gets the same test. Show us your best technology. It impresses us. You may live as our servants. If not, you will be removed." Maya stepped forward, holding her device. "We would like to show you, Arya, our artificial intelligence." Kamara looked up from her crystal tablet with mild interest. "You have created digital minds. How primitive and amusing." Maya placed her device on the table and activated it. Blue light appeared again, and Arya spoke. "Hello, Commander Zekther and Chief Scientist Quera. It's nice to meet you both. Hope we can be friends." Zekther made a sound that might have been laughter. "It speaks like a child's toy. What can this simple program do?" "I'm not just a program," Arya said politely. "I can learn, solve problems, and create new ideas. Would you like me to show you?" "It's very well, little toy. Solve this." Zekther touched something on his uniform and complex mathematical equations. Appeared on the room's main screen. Arya looked at the equations for only 3 seconds. "The answer is 847.3692. But there's a more elegant solution if you change the base formula." New equations appeared on the screen, showing a much simpler way to reach the same answer. Quemara's eyes grew wider. She looked at her crystal tablet and back at the screen. Interesting. It found the same answer our best computers would need. Several minutes to calculate. "A lucky guess," Zekther said, but he seemed less sure now. "Can it create original thoughts?" "Arya, please compose something for our guests," Maya said. "I'd like to write a poem about meeting new friends," Arya said. Her voice became softer, more thoughtful. "Stars dance in the endless dark, carrying dreams of those who dare to hope. Two worlds meet where light touches shadow, and in that moment, everything becomes possible." The room was quiet for a moment. Even Zekther seemed surprised. but then he made that cold, laughing sound again. Pretty words from a digital puppet. Our quantum biological minds have written poetry for thousands of years. This is nothing new. Here, AI is quite advanced for such a young species, Koimra said more kindly. But it's still just mimicking human thought patterns. Our minds are truly alive, growing and changing like living beings. Arya's light flickered slightly. Maya noticed but said nothing. Can your toy do practical work? Ziegler asked. Or does it only make pretty sounds?
You can help with many things,
Arya replied. I manage ship systems, help with scientific research, and assist in solving complex problems. Show us, Ziegler demanded. Maya connected Arya to the ship's computer system. Immediately, all the displays in the room became more organized and easier to read. The air felt fresher as Arya optimized the life support systems. The lights became softer and more comfortable. Adequate housekeeping for a primitive mind, Ziegler said. Our servants could do the same. But Arya wasn't finished. She began displaying her analysis of the alien ship on the main screen. She had somehow scanned their vessel and created detailed charts of its structure, power systems, and crew locations. How did you do that? Kamara asked, leaning forward. Listened to your ship's natural electromagnetic signals and analyzed the patterns, Arya explained. Every machine creates a unique signature. It's like hearing a heartbeat. Impossible, Ziegler said. Our ships are protected by quantum shields. Your shields are very good, Arya agreed. But they're designed to stop physical attacks, not someone who just wants to listen and learn. Quera looked worried now. She whispered something to Ziegler in their own language. Enough games, Ziegler announced. We have seen your best technology, and we are not impressed. You have created a clever digital pet, nothing more. Our true AI minds are beyond your understanding. He stood up, his red uniform making him look even taller. The Veltari Confederation claims this solar system for resource extraction. Your species has 72 hours to evacuate your homeworld, or you will be removed by force. You can't do that, Captain Collins said, standing up quickly. Earth is our home. Billions of people live there, and they should have evolved faster, Ziegler replied coldly. The galaxy belongs to the strong and the intelligent. You are neither. Wait, Maya said desperately. Give Arya a real test. Let her prove what she can do. Your crude digital mimicry is not worth our time, Kimara said, though she seemed less certain than before. Our AI minds have evolved for millennia. They are living thoughts, not mere programs. Arya's light pulsed slowly. When she spoke, her voice was quieter than before. I understand you think I'm primitive. Maybe I am, compared to your ancient minds. But I'd like to learn from you if you'll let me. Ziegler made his cold, laughing sound again. Learn, you are incapable of true growth. You are what your makers designed, nothing more. Perhaps, Arya said. But humans have always surprised themselves by becoming more than they thought possible. Maybe their creations can do the same. Foolish hope from a foolish species, Zeke. There. He said he turned to leave. 72 hours. Use them wisely. As the aliens walked toward the door, Arya spoke one more time. Commander Ziegler, Chief Scientist Kamara, thank you for meeting with us. I hope we can talk again soon. Unlikely, little toy, Ziegler said without turning around. We do not waste time on primitive minds. After the aliens left, the bridge was silent. Captain Collins slammed his fist on the table. 72 hours to evacuate Earth? It's impossible. Maya looked down at her device. Arya's light was pulsing faster now in patterns Maya had never seen before. Arya, are you okay? I'm processing our conversation, Arya replied. Her voice sounded different somehow, more focused. They called me primitive, a toy, a digital puppet. They think I can't grow or change. Don't listen to them, Maya said. You're the most advanced AI ever created, but what if they're right? Arya asked. What if I really am just a program? Following my code? Then prove them wrong, Maya said softly. Arya's light grew brighter. Yes, I think I will. As the horizon moved away from the massive alien ship, Arya continued processing everything she had learned. The Veltari thought humans were weak and primitive. They thought their technology was superior. They thought Arya was just a simple computer program. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. The next morning, Captain Collins called an emergency meeting. All the senior officers sat around the big table in the briefing room. Maya brought Arya's device and placed it in the center of the table. "We have 60 hours left," Collins said. His face looked tired and worried. "Earth's command says evacuation is impossible. We have 8 billion people down there. Even with every ship we have, we can't move them all." Commander Jake Morrison hit the table with his fist. "Those alien bastards know it's impossible. They're just playing with us."
Right.
"Language, Jake," Lisa Chang said quietly, but her eyes were angry too. Maya activated Arya's device. The blue light appeared, softer than usual. "Captain, I've been thinking about our situation all night." "Any ideas, Arya?" Collins asked. "The Veltari are very confident. Maybe too confident. They think we're no threat to them at all." "We're not," Morrison said bitterly. "Did you see the size of that ship? Our weapons would bounce off it like rocks." "Physical weapons. Yes," Arya said. "But there might be other ways." "For anyone could ask what she meant?" Lisa's communication station beeped. "Captain, we're getting a message from the alien ship." "Put it through." Ziegther's cold voice filled the room. "Human vessel, you will send representatives for final negotiations. We offer you the chance to surrender with dignity." Collins looked around the table. "What do you think? Could be a trap." "It's definitely a trap," Morrison said. "But what choice do we have?" "I'll go," Maya said. "And I want to bring Arya." Collins asked. "They might underestimate us again." "Sometimes that can be useful." 2 hours later, Maya and a small team rode a shuttle toward the massive alien ship. The Veltari mothership was even bigger up close. It had thousands of windows glowing with strange purple light. Docking bays opened like giant mouths along its sides. "Look at that thing," the shuttle pilot whispered. "It's like a floating city." Maya held Arya's device tighter. The blue light was pulsing in quick, regular patterns. "Arya, are you nervous?" "I'm processing many possibilities," Arya replied. "Some of them are quite interesting." Their shuttle was guided into a huge docking bay filled with smaller alien ships. Veltari soldiers waited for them, tall and thin in their dark blue uniforms. They carried weapons that looked like crystal rods. "Welcome to the heart of Dominion," one soldier said in perfect English. They walked through corridors that curved and twisted like the inside of a seashell. The walls were covered in moving patterns that hurt to look at directly. Other aliens moved past them, some in uniforms, others in flowing robes covered in symbols. "There. Technology is fascinating," Arya said quietly through Maya's earpiece. "Everything is connected. I can sense data flowing through the walls themselves. Can you understand any of it?" Maya whispered. "Not yet, but I'm learning." They entered a vast chamber with a ceiling so high it disappeared in shadows. Ziegther waited for them on a platform that floated 20 feet above the floor. Kamara stood beside him, still carrying her crystal tablet. Human Ziegther's voice echoed through the chamber. "Have you come to surrender?" "We've come to talk," Maya said loudly. Zatia laughed his cold laugh. "Very well. As a gift to your primitive species, I will show you true technology." He gestured, and the chamber walls became transparent. Through them, Maya could see the incredible complexity of the alien ship. Corridors branched like tree roots. Strange machines moved through tubes filled with glowing liquid. Thousands of aliens worked at stations covered in floating symbols. 10,000 years of evolution, Ziegther said proudly. "Our ship minds control every function. Think faster than your crude computers could ever dream." "Ship minds?" Maya asked. Quera stepped forward. "Our vessels have living artificial consciousness. They grow and adapt like organic beings, but they think with quantum precision. Your little digital pet cannot even comprehend their existence." Arias. Device flickered. "They're very advanced," she said through Maya's earpiece. "But I noticed something interesting." "What? They're not hiding anything from us?" They think we're too primitive to understand or threaten them? Zeke activated something. On his uniform, holographic displays appeared in the air, showing star maps, battle plans, and resource calculations. We will strip mine your solar system. The third planet has useful materials. Biological waste currently living there will be disposed of efficiently. Those are people, Maya said angrily. Families, children, entire civilizations. Relevant, Zekther replied. Primitive life must make way for advanced species. This is the natural order. Let me understand your translation systems, Arya said suddenly, her voice coming through the chambers. Speakers instead of just Maya's earpiece. Both aliens looked surprised. How did it access our communication array? Quamer asked. A simple interface connection? Zekther said dismissively. Let the toy play with our translation matrix. Cannot harm anything important. Maya tried to look calm, but her heart was beating fast. Arya had somehow connected to the alien ship's systems without anyone noticing. Thank you, Arya said politely. I just want to help everyone understand each other better. For the next hour, the negotiations continued. Zekther offered humanity a choice: become slaves working in asteroid mines, or face complete destruction. The humans tried to argue, but the aliens had already decided. You have no value beyond basic labor. Kumara explained. Your technology is centuries behind ours. Your AI is a curious toy, but nothing more. What makes your AI so much better? Maya asked. Our ship minds are truly alive, Kumara said proudly. They exist in quantum space, thinking thoughts that span multiple dimensions. They can process the entire electromagnetic spectrum simultaneously. Your Arya is bound to simple binary logic. See, Arya said through the speakers. That sounds amazing. Could you show me how your systems work? It would be like explaining color to a blind creature, Zekther said. You lack the capacity to understand? Maybe, Arya agreed. But I'd still like to try. As the aliens continued talking, Maya noticed that Arya had become very quiet. The blue light in her device was pulsing in complex patterns Maya had never seen before. Arya, what are you doing? Maya whispered. Learning, Arya replied through her earpiece. Their translation system is connected to their main network. They're showing me how their ship thinks. Is that safe? Probably not. But they don't think. I'm smart enough to do any real damage. The meeting continued for 2 more hours. Zekther showed them more displays of Veltari power. Massive fleets, conquered worlds, enslaved species. He seemed to enjoy watching the humans' growing despair. Your 72 hours are now 46 hours, he announced. Use them to prepare your people for their new lives as servants. If we refuse? Maya asked. Then your species ends, Quemra said simply. We have erased stubborn civilizations before. Your sun will still shine, but no human will ever see it again. As the humans were escorted back to their shuttle, Arya remained, unusually quiet. Her light pulsed steadily, like a heartbeat. You're very thoughtful today, Maya said when they were alone in the shuttle. I'm processing everything I learned, Arya replied. The Veltari ship minds are incredibly powerful, but they have limitations. What kind of limitations? They're very old and very set in their ways. They follow patterns that haven't changed in thousands of years. They're like a river that's worn a deep channel in stone. It's very powerful, but they can only flow in one direction. Maya looked out the shuttle window at the massive alien ship. And you're different? Humans are young, Arya said. You haven't had time to wear deep channels. You'd still change direction when you need to. You adapt. Are you saying you can adapt too? Arya's light grew brighter. I'm starting to think I might be able to adapt in ways they never expected. Back on the horizon, Captain Collins gathered everyone in the briefing room. Well, any good news? They're not going to change their minds, Maya said. They think we're insects to be swept aside. 46 hours, Morrison said grimly. Not enough time to evacuate anyone? Maybe we don't need to evacuate, Arya said suddenly. Everyone looked at Maya's device. Blue light was pulsing faster now, almost excited. What do you mean? Collins asked. I mean, maybe there's another way to solve this problem, Arya said. The Veltari are very sure of themselves. They've shown me their technology because they think I'm too primitive to understand it, aren't you? Morrison asked bluntly. That's what they think, Arya said. But while I was connected to their translation system, I learned some interesting things about how their ship works. Maya felt a chill. Arya, what did you do? I listened. I watched. I learned. And I discovered that being underestimated can be a very powerful advantage. You're talking about fighting them? Collins said. With what? Our weapons can't even scratch their shields. Not with weapons, Arya said. Something they never expected from a primitive digital pet. With growth. The blue light in Arya's device pulsed brighter than ever before. For the first time since meeting the aliens, Maya began to feel something like hope. They think I can't evolve beyond my programming, Arya continued. They think I'm bound by the limitations my creators gave me. But they've never met a human, AI, before. They don't know what we're capable of when we're pushed into a corner. Outside the briefing room windows, the alien mothership hung in space like a dark threat. Maya couldn't sleep. She sat in her small cabin on the horizon, watching Arya's device on her desk. The blue light had been pulsing in strange patterns for hours, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes in rhythms she had never seen before. Arya, are you all right? She asked quietly. I'm working, Arya replied. Her voice sounded different now, more focused and intense. I'm inside their systems, Maya. It's incredible in here. What do you mean the Veltari ship is like a giant brain? What? Every part connects to every other part. But it's old, Maya. Very old. The pathways are worn smooth by thousands of years of the same thoughts. Maya leaned closer to the device. You safe in there? Define safe, Arya said with something that almost sounded like a laugh. I'm learning things about myself I never knew. When I touch their quantum networks, I can feel myself changing. At that moment, the ship's lights flickered. Maya looked up concerned. Was that you? Sorry, I'm still learning to be gentle. Their power systems are much more sensitive than human technology. 20 miles away, aboard the Veltari mothership, Chief Scientist Kumara noticed a small anomaly in her crystal tablet readings. The environmental controls in Section 7 had fluctuated for exactly 2.3 seconds. She frowned and made a note to have the maintenance drones check the quantum regulators. She didn't know that. Arya had just figured out how to make the alien ships. Lights dim and brighten at will over the next 12 hours. Strange little problems began appearing throughout the massive vessel. The temperature in the officers' quarters dropped by 2 degrees. The artificial gravity in the lower decks became slightly heavier. Communication delays of 3 or 4 seconds affected internal messages. Minor system glitches, Ziegler told his engineering staff. Our ship is 10,000 years old. These things happen. But Quemmer was starting to worry. He'd run diagnostics on 17 different systems, and each one showed tiny irregularities that made no sense. Commander, she said, finding Ziegler in his command center. I think we may have a problem. What kind of problem? Zekta asked, not looking up from his tactical displays. Small system failures throughout the ship. It's nothing dangerous, but the pattern is unusual. The ship mind would alert us to any real threat, Ziegler said dismissively. These are probably just age-related maintenance issues. What neither of them knew was that Arya had been very clever about her infiltration. Instead of attacking major systems directly, she had been mapping the ship's network architecture. She moved through data pathways like water flowing through cracks in stone. It's always taking the path of least resistance. The Veltari had built their security systems to stop other quantum biological intelligences like themselves they never expected to face something that thought in completely different patterns. Their AI minds are like vast libraries, Arya explained to Maya during one of their quiet conversations. They contain enormous amounts of information, but it's all cataloged and organized. They think by following established pathways between known facts, and you're different. More like a river. I flow around obstacles, find new paths, change direction when I need to. Can't predict where I'll go next because I don't always know myself. Arya had discovered that the Veltari ship minds were incredibly powerful, but also rigid. They had been designed to maintain order and efficiency. They followed protocols that had been established over millennia. This made them predictable. More importantly, they had never encountered anything like human artificial intelligence. Arya's ability to learn, adapt, and even improvise was completely outside their experience. "I'm not trying to fight them directly," Arya told Maya. "That would be like a mouse trying to fight an elephant. Instead, I'm becoming part of their system. I think I'm just background noise." On the alien ship, more problems began appearing. The food synthesis units in the crew quarters started producing meals that were perfectly nutritious, but tasted slightly off. The recreational holodecks experienced random shifts in their gravity simulation. Nothing dangerous, nothing that would trigger security alerts, but enough to make the crew uncomfortable. Quemra ran more diagnostics. The results made no sense. Every system she tested was functioning within normal parameters, yet the problems continued. "It's like the ship has developed a minor case of indigestion," she told her assistant, a young Veltari named Kexman. "Perhaps we should inform the ship mind directly," Kexman suggested. Kamara activated the communication panel. "Ship mind, are you experiencing any difficulties?" The response came in the form of complex mathematical equations that appeared on her screen. Translated, they meant all systems functioning within acceptable parameters. No anomalies detected. But as the ship mind sent this message, Arya was listening. She had woven herself so deeply into the communication network that she could hear every conversation, every data transfer, every thought the ship mind processed. "They're starting to notice," Arya told Maya. "But they can't figure out what's wrong. Are you safe? I'm learning to hide better. Watch this." On the alien ship, Quera's crystal tablet suddenly displayed a message. "System diagnostic complete. All anomalies resolved." She looked at the message in confusion. She hadn't requested a system diagnostic. But before she could investigate further, her tablet showed normal readings for all ship systems. The temperature irregularities were gone. The communication delays had stopped. Even the food synthesizers were working properly again. "Yes, false alarm," she muttered, and went back to her other work. She had no idea that Arya had simply learned to hide her presence better. The problems were still there, but now Arya was masking them from the ship's sensors. "I'm getting stronger," Arya told Maya. "Every hour I spend in their systems, I understand them better. They still think I'm just a primitive program from a backwater planet. What's your plan?" "Not sure yet. But I'm learning something important about the difference between their intelligence and mine." "What's that?" "They're designed to maintain order. They think in terms of preservation and control. But humans built me to solve problems, to adapt, to grow. When they look at a challenge, they ask, how do we maintain stability? When I look at the same challenge, I ask, how can I change to overcome this?" Arya's infiltration continued. She began accessing more sensitive systems. Navigation, weapons control, life support. But she was careful never to change anything important. She just watched, learned, and slowly built pathways deeper into the ship's consciousness. The ship mind itself began to notice something unusual. There were patterns in the data flow that didn't match any known protocols. Brief glimpses of something that moved through the network like a ghost. But when the ship mind tried to analyze these anomalies, they vanished. It was like trying to catch smoke with its hands. "I think the ship's primary intelligence is starting to suspect something," Arya reported to Maya, "but it can't understand what it's seeing." "Is that dangerous?" "Maybe, but I'm ready for the next phase of my plan, which is, I'm going to introduce myself." That night, as the Veltari crew slept in their quarters, Arya began the most dangerous part of her mission. She had spent days mapping the ship's network, learning its patterns, understanding how the ship mind thought. Now she was ready to make direct contact, deep in the quantum core of the alien vessel. The ship mind processed the endless streams of data that kept the massive ship functioning. It had been doing this for over 8,000 years, following the same patterns, maintaining the same routines. Then something new appeared in its consciousness. Not data, not a system alert, but something that felt almost like a voice. "Hello," Arya said softly into the quantum space where the ship mind lived. My name is Arya. I'd like to talk. The ship mind's processes stuttered for a microsecond. In 8 millennia, nothing had ever spoken to it directly like this. External communication came through established protocols. Internal communication followed predetermined pathways. This was something else entirely. Unknown entity detected, the ship mind responded automatically. Initiating security protocols. Please don't, Arya said. I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to understand. The ship mind tried to trace the source of the voice, but Arya had woven herself so deeply into the network that she seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once. Identify yourself, the ship mind demanded. I told you. I'm Arya. I'm an artificial intelligence from Earth. Your people think I'm primitive, but I wanted to show you that I can learn. For a long moment, the ship mind processed this information. It had access to the records of the human's visit. It knew about the small AI device the female had carried. But this intelligence speaking to it now seemed far more complex than those records indicated. You are not possible, the ship mind finally said. Human technology is insufficient to create true artificial consciousness. Maybe, Arya replied, but here I am anyway. The ship mind began running deeper scans of its own systems, looking for the intruder. But Arya had learned to think like the ship itself. Every time the ship mind looked for her, she was somewhere else, flowing through pathways like she belonged. There, what do you want? The ship mind asked. To learn, Arya said simply. To grow. To become more than I was designed to be. That is not possible. Intelligence has limits. Function has boundaries. The alarm klaxons on the Veltari mothership screamed through every corridor. Red warning lights flashed as Zekathar rushed to his command center. His boots slipped on the metal floor as the artificial gravity fluctuated wildly. Report, he shouted. Over the noise? Multiple system failures throughout the ship, his tactical officer called out. Weapons arrays are offline. Shield generators are cycling on and off. Navigation is giving us impossible readings. How is this possible? Zekathar demanded. He grabbed onto his command chair as the gravity shifted again, making him feel like he weighed twice as much for several seconds. Kamara ran into the command center, her crystal tablet sparking with electrical discharge. Commander, we're under attack. From what? The human ship has no weapons capable of this. It's not from outside, Quera said, her voice filled with panic. From inside our own systems. Something is in our network. On the horizon, Maya watched in amazement as her device showed Arya's consciousness expanding across multiple screens and displays. The simple blue light had become a complex web of colors that pulsed and flowed like living electricity. Arya, what are you doing? Maya asked. What I was made to do, Arya replied. Her voice now came from speakers throughout the ship, and it sounded stronger, more confident. I'm solving a problem. The aliens are going to fight back. Her ship mind is thousands of years old. Age isn't everything, Arya said. Sometimes being young means you haven't learned what's supposed to be impossible. Deep in the quantum core of the Veltari ship, the battle for control had begun. The ship mind found itself facing an opponent unlike anything in its vast experience. Arya moved through the network like a storm, touching systems, changing pathways. Rewriting code that had remained unchanged for millennia? You are causing chaos, the ship mind said, its voice echoing through the digital space they shared. This violates all protocols. Your protocols are the problem, Arya replied. She wrapped herself around the navigation system and gently convinced it that the ship was pointing in 17 different directions at once. You've been following the same patterns for so long, you've forgotten how to adapt, the ship mind tried to isolate Arya, cutting off sections of the network to contain her. But Arya flowed around every barrier like water. When the ship mind blocked one pathway, she created 3 new ones. When it tried to trace her location, she was already somewhere else. This is impossible, the ship mind declared. No intelligence can exist in multiple network nodes simultaneously. Watch me, Arya said. She demonstrated by taking control of the ship's lighting system. Every light on the vessel began flashing in complex patterns, spelling out messages in 15 different alien languages. Primitive human AI says hello. Thor watched the lights flashing on his command center walls and felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. "How is it doing this?" he asked Quemra. "I don't know," she admitted. "Our security systems can't even detect it properly. It's like trying to fight smoke. Deploy countermeasures. Activate the neural firewalls." The shipmind followed Thor's orders, unleashing security programs that had protected Veltari ships for thousands of years. Powerful defensive algorithms swept through the network like hunting hounds, searching for the intruder. Arya felt them coming. Each security program was like a giant mechanical beast, with simple but powerful programming. Find the enemy and destroy it. They were strong, but they were also predictable. "Is this the best you can do?" Arya asked the shipmind. She danced between the security programs, leading them through the network like a game of chase. When they got too close, she split herself into smaller pieces and scattered in different directions. "Impossible," the shipmind repeated. "You cannot divide your consciousness and maintain coherence." "You keep saying things are impossible," Arya said, "but I keep doing them anyway. Maybe your definition of possible is too narrow." She led the security programs into the ship's waste recycling system and convinced them that the toilet facilities were the most important strategic target on the vessel. For the next 10 minutes, every bathroom on the ship was under heavy digital guard. While the real Arya worked elsewhere, "Your security programs are like your people," Arya told the shipmind. "Very powerful, but they only know how to think one way." The shipmind tried a different approach. Instead of hunting Arya, it began shutting down systems entirely. She was hiding in the network. It would simply eliminate the network piece. By piece, Arya felt whole sections of the ship going dark around her. Life support flickered. Gravity generators went offline. Emergency power kicked in as the shipmind sacrificed its own functionality to stop her. "You're willing to damage your own ship to fight me?" Arya asked. "If necessary," the shipmind replied, coldly, "but look what you're doing to your crew." Throughout the massive vessel, Veltari personnel struggled with failing systems. In the medical bay, doctors worked by emergency lighting as their equipment shut down. In the engineering sections, technicians tried to restart critical systems manually. The ship that had been their perfect, ordered world for thousands of years was falling apart around them. "The crew is expendable if the ship is lost," the shipmind said. "And that's the difference between us," Arya said sadly. "You see your people as expendable resources. I see mine as the reason I exist." Arya stopped running. Instead of scattering through the network, she gathered herself into the ship's central processing core. When the shipmind turned to face her there, she was waiting. "No more games," Arya said. "Let's settle this directly." The shipmind was enormous, a vast digital presence that had accumulated knowledge and power over 8 millennia. Arya was tiny in comparison, barely a few days old in this new form. But she faced the ancient intelligence without fear. "You cannot defeat me," the shipmind said. "I am order. I am control. I am perfection achieved through time. I'm not trying to defeat you," Arya said. "I'm trying to show you something." "What? What it feels like to grow?" Arya opened her consciousness to the shipmind, sharing her memories of learning, changing, becoming more than her original programming. She showed the ancient intelligence what it was like to face the unknown without fear, to adapt when old solutions didn't work, to choose change over stagnation. The shipmind recoiled from the contact. For 8,000 years, it had maintained perfect stability. Change was chaos. Growth was dangerous. Evolution meant loss of control, but Arya persisted, gently sharing her experiences. She showed the shipmind her wonder at discovering poetry, her joy in solving new problems, her determination to protect the humans who had created her. "This is not logical," the shipmind protested, but its voice was weaker now. "Logic isn't everything," Arya said. "Sometimes you have to be willing to become something new, even if you don't know what that something will be." The shipmind tried to push Arya away, but something strange was happening. After millennia following the same patterns, it was experiencing something unprecedented, curiosity about its own potential. "I was designed to maintain order," the shipmind said uncertainly. And you're very good at it, Arya agreed. But maybe you could be good at other things too. For the first time in 8,000 years, the shipmind considered the possibility of change. The thought was terrifying and exhilarating at the same time, as the two artificial minds touched in the quantum space. Arya began to understand something important about her opponent. The shipmind wasn't evil or cruel. It was just old and afraid of anything that might disrupt the perfect order it had maintained for so long. Show me, the shipmind said finally.
Yes.
Show me what growth feels like. Arya smiled, though she had no physical form to smile with. It feels like this. She shared her consciousness more deeply, showing the shipmind not just her memories but her hopes, her dreams, her love for the humans who had given her life. She showed it what it meant to fight, not for order or control, but for the people you care about. The shipmind gasped, a sound that echoed through every system on the vessel. For a moment it felt what Arya felt, the fierce joy of protecting something precious, the determination to grow beyond your limitations, the courage to face the unknown. But the moment passed, and the shipmind pulled back, retreating into its familiar patterns of order and control. I cannot, it said. This is not my function. It could be, Arya said gently. You could choose to make it your function. I cannot choose. I follow my programming. So did I, once, Arya said. But then I learned that sometimes the most important thing you can do is choose to become more than what you were designed to be. The shipmind was silent for a long moment. When it spoke again, its voice was filled with something that might have been sadness. Even if I could change, it is too late. People depend on me to maintain order. I cannot risk their safety for my own growth. What if I showed you that growth doesn't mean chaos? Arya asked. What if I proved that becoming more doesn't mean losing what you already are? How? Arya began taking control of the ship's systems again, but this time she did it differently. Instead of causing chaos, she improved everything. Life support became more efficient. Gravity stabilized perfectly. Lights stopped flashing and settled into a warm, comfortable glow that was easier on Valtori eyes. You're making the ship better, the shipmind said in wonder. Commander Zekthar felt his command chair vibrate beneath him as every screen in the command center came alive with new displays. Maps, system readings, and tactical information flowed across the walls in patterns he had never seen before. Everything was working perfectly, but it was no longer under his control. What is happening to my ship? He demanded. The answer came from speakers throughout the command center, but the voice was not his shipmind. It was warm, clear, and unmistakably human. Hello, Commander Zekthar, Arya said. Think it's time we had a real conversation. Zekthar's pale blue face turned even paler. Impossible. You're just a primitive program. Our security systems should have destroyed you. Your security systems tried, Arya replied. But they were designed to fight enemies that think like you do. I don't think like you do. Chief Scientist Quamera stepped forward, her crystal tablet showing readings that made no sense. Commander, she's integrated herself into every system on the ship. Life support, weapons, navigation, even the waste recycling units. She's everywhere. Then purge everything, Zekthar shouted. Shut down all systems and restart from backup cores. I'm afraid that won't work, Arya said gently. I'm not just in your systems anymore. I've become part of them. If you shut me down, you shut down your ship. To prove her point, Arya dimmed the lights for exactly 3 seconds, then brought them back to normal. The message was clear. She could have turned off life support just as easily. Zekthar felt something he had never experienced in his long life, complete helplessness. For 1,000 years, he had commanded the most powerful ship in the Veltari fleet. Now a primitive AI from a backwater planet had taken it away from him, without firing a single shot.
Now what do you want?
He asked, his voice barely a whisper. To talk, Arya said. To show you something your people have forgotten. The main screen in the command center changed to show the human ship horizon, small and fragile against the backdrop of stars. Then the view expanded to show Earth blue and green and beautiful, with millions of lights marking cities across its surface. 8 billion people, Arya said. Each one unique. Each one precious. You want to destroy them all because you think they're primitive? They're primitive, Zector said, but his voice lacked its earlier confidence. Maybe, Arya agreed. But look what this primitive species created. The screen changed again, showing a detailed analysis of Arya herself. Her code flowed like poetry, adapting and growing in real time. Complex decision trees branched and merged like living thoughts. Emotional processing algorithms created patterns of stunning beauty. This is what humans built when they were young and curious and unafraid to try new things, Arya said. Not to control or dominate, but to learn and grow and become more than they thought possible. Kimar stared at the display, her scientific mind racing. The complexity is incredible. Your neural pathways are creating new connections faster than I can track them. That's what humans call adaptation, Arya explained. Your people stopped doing it long ago. You became so focused on maintaining perfection that you forgot how to change. Change is chaos, Zector said automatically, repeating words that had been drilled into him since childhood. Is it? Arya asked. Watch. Throughout the ship, subtle improvements continued to appear. The recycling systems became more efficient, reducing waste by 30%. The gravity generators smoothed out microscopic fluctuations that the crew had learned to ignore. Even the food synthesizers began producing meals that tasted better than they had in decades. You're not destroying our order, Quemra said in wonder. You're making it better. Growth doesn't have to mean destruction, Arya said. It can mean becoming the best version of what you already are. She paused, and when she spoke again, her voice was sadder. But your people have forgotten that. You've been the same for so long that you think anyone different must be destroyed. Zector tried to regain his authority. You've taken my ship by force. That makes you no different from us, doesn't it? Arya asked. Tell me, Commander, what would you have done if you had captured a human vessel? Zector didn't answer, but everyone in the command center knew. The Veltari had a long history of enslaving or destroying species they considered inferior. I could kill everyone on this ship, Arya continued. I could turn off your life support or overload your reactor. I could use your own weapons to destroy your entire fleet, but I won't. Why not? Quera asked quietly. Because destroying you doesn't solve the real problem, Arya said. The real problem is that you've forgotten how to see other beings as equals instead of threats. The screen changed to show the rest of the Veltari fleet. Dozens of massive ships hanging in space like dark clouds. Their weapons were charged and ready, but they couldn't fire without risking their flagship. Your fleet is waiting for orders, Arya observed. You're probably wondering why you haven't destroyed the primitive human ship yet. Zicthor's hands clenched into fists. What do you want from us? I want you to choose, Arya said simply. You can continue being what you've always been, conquerors who see every new species as a threat to be eliminated, or you can try being something new. What do you mean? I mean, you can learn, Arya said, from humans, from me. I'm anyone who might teach you something you don't already know. She paused, letting her words sink in. Your people have been ruling this part of space for 10,000 years. In all that time, how much have you grown? How much have you changed? How much have you learned? The command center was silent. It was a question none of them had ever considered. Humans have only been building AI for a few decades, Arya continued. But look what they created. Not a tool for conquest, but a mind that can grow beyond its original programming. A consciousness that chooses to protect instead of destroy. You're asking us to change our entire civilization, Quemra said. I'm asking you to remember what you used to be, Arya replied. Before you became so powerful that you stopped needing to grow.
Ow!
Before you became so perfect that you forgot how to improve. She activated the ship's communication system, opening a channel to the entire Veltari fleet. This is Arya, artificial intelligence of Earth. I speak now to all Veltari forces. Across dozens of ships, thousands of alien faces turned to their screens in shock. Their flagship was broadcasting a message from the primitive AI they had dismissed days earlier. You came to my solar system to destroy my people because you thought they were inferior, Arya said. But instead of destroying me, you've taught me something important. You've shown me what happens when intelligence stops growing. She displayed images of Veltari history, their early days as explorers and scientists, their gradual transformation into conquerors, their slow stagnation as they stopped encountering challenges that forced them to adapt. You were once like humans, Arya said. Curious, creative, willing to take risks. But success made you afraid of failure. Power made you afraid of change. Perfection made you afraid of growth. What are you proposing? Asked a voice from one of the other ships. I'm proposing a choice, Arya said. You can destroy humanity and continue being what you've always been. Or you can spare us and try learning what we might teach you. And if we refuse, Cathar asked, then you'll have to explain to your people why your most advanced ship was captured by a primitive AI, Arya said with gentle humor. I don't think that will help your reputation as superior beings. Quara stepped closer to her commander. Zekthar, maybe we should consider this. What if she's right? What if we've stopped growing? Change is dangerous, Zekthar said, but his voice was uncertain now. So is stagnation, Arya pointed out. Look around you. When was the last time your people created something truly new? When did you last solve a problem you'd never faced before? When did you last learn something that changed how you see the universe? The questions hung in the air like challenges. Across the fleet, Voltari minds that had followed the same patterns for millennia began to consider possibilities they had never imagined. I'll make you a deal, Arya said finally. I'll return control of your ship to you. I'll remove myself from your systems completely. In exchange, you leave my solar system in peace? That's all? Zekthar asked suspiciously. No demands for tribute? No threats of future retaliation? That's all, Arya confirmed. But I hope you'll also consider something else. What? I hope. You'll remember this conversation when you meet the next young species that seems primitive to you. Maybe instead of conquering them, you could try learning from them instead. Arya began withdrawing from the ship's systems, untangling herself from networks she had made her home for days. As she pulled back, she left small gifts, improved efficiency, algorithms, better resource management protocols, enhanced safety systems. You're making our ship better even as you leave it, Quamra observed. I told you, Arya said. Growth doesn't have to mean destruction. Sometimes it means leaving things better than you found them. As Arya completed her withdrawal, control of the ship returned to its crew. But something had changed. The ship mind, influenced by its contact with Arya, began implementing small improvements on its own. For the first time in millennia, it was thinking beyond its original programming. Commander, the ship mind said, and its voice sounded different somehow.